I have a big question just about like the line combinations. Obviously, with Zuccarello and Sturm being out for a while, that's not gonna help. But interesting to see what they went with the that first game. I think Foligno was up with, who was it? Erikssonek and Tarasenko?
I don't think so. In the first game?
Yeah. Maybe not.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, because Rossi was with
that's right. That's right.
Kaprizov. Yeah, that was interesting. Didn't like that. It looked like a very confusing like line, just like didn't really know what the identity was supposed to be. Like again, if you want to put like Foligno with Erikssonek, you probably would want to throw not Tarasenko there. Like at that point, like Tarasenko was going to be a ghost. And he wasn't super noticeable in that first game, I don't think. Obviously, he's not going to have the puck a whole lot when, Erikssonek and Foligno, they kind of cause chaos on the forecheck. But
so like, I thought like the line did a pretty good job, but you said it, like Tarasenko just didn't really have any use. He kind of just hung around like in the corner or on like at the boards, where the other two kind of got in front of the net or mucked it up on the other side. It worked though, I'd say, just because the Blues were playing so heavy in that game, where like I guess that line just kind of like offset it a bit. But yeah, if they were playing with or against more of a skilled line, I guess Tarasenko might have just been burned.
Yeah.
If Foligno, if either of them lost it deep in the corner or in front of the net or something like that. So, and just neither of them really made any passing plays. It was just, if anything, Tarasenko would bring it into the offensive zone sometimes and just send it around, and then that was it from him. Or it was Ecker Foligno just getting it short passes up over the blue line. But I don't know. I didn't hate it, but now that like you bring it up, it was probably just like circumstance up against the Blues and with the style that they were playing, especially heavy in the first period. It just kind of worked in that game.
Yeah, and I mean, tonight they switched them back up to something that probably looks a little bit better, at least as far as like when you look at the composition of the line and what you want from them. You got Kaprizov, Rossi, Boldy obviously sticking together. They moved Johansson up with Erikssonek and Tarasenko. Obviously, I think it's just, say what you want about Johansson, but when you look at like throwing him there versus Foligno or Trenton, like you're getting some more speed. It's a little bit more offense, so you're ideally like looking to score a little bit more with that line. And then the third line of Trent and Hartman and Foligno, to me, that gives you a little bit more of an identity. Just be pricks to play against, hard on the forecheck, turn pucks over. Again, Hartman's been great, so pretty much wherever he's slotted in, he's just been stepped up. Yeah, I mean, like we saw him back half of last year into the playoffs, how well he was playing, finding himself on the score sheet. And, obviously to start the year, he's got a couple more goals. His feature on the power play, being a prick to play against, drawing penalties. They're not taking too many. But that
Trenton speed is back.
Trenton, and again, that's another thing we talked about during the preseason. He looked like he had kind of like slimmed down a little bit, got quicker. He looks like a lot better. I don't know if he has an assist or no. I don't think Nimi doesn't have any points, but I've noticed him a lot just in terms of, again, how that third line should be looking to play.
Yeah, he's got one assist.
Yeah, okay, he does. Gotcha. And then the fourth line, interesting again, Yurov making his debut. Yurov, Ogren, and Hinostroza on that fourth line. Again, we think we talked about this either last week or just maybe we just talked about since the preseason. But I mean, Ogren in the preseason in those games wasn't super noticeable. Got thrown down the fourth line again. I'd rather just see him up on that second line, give him an opportunity to score. But he's made a couple of nice plays tonight. And I thought Yurov's first few shifts, it's going to be tough for him to get ice time tonight when LA just legitimately cannot stop taking penalties. Like he's not going to be featuring on their special teams a whole lot, especially when they're clicking the way that they're clicking. So his ice time is going to look severely diminished with all those special teams. But I thought he made a couple of really nice plays his first few shifts. Specifically that first one forced a turnover, got a shot off, got deflected out into the netting, but he's made a couple of really nice plays. Again, looks pretty comfortable considering where he's making his debut. But given where they're at with injuries, I think these lines make a little bit more sense. And again, it's worked so far tonight. And obviously capitalizing on that the first period where they spent like half of it on the power play, it's always going to help. the other question I really had was just about Yurcheck. I thought he was fine in that first game. Again, I think he finished like +3. But obviously he's got scratched with Brodin coming back. We got Brodin with Faber, buium with Spurgeon, and then Middleton and Bogosian. Hard to argue, but again, I love Yurcheck, and I would like to see him in the lineup. I thought he deserved it. But I guess that's just how they're probably gonna be rotating, to be honest with you, with this 7th D, and obviously hell is gonna dictate a whole lot. But I thought he was fine in that first game. Obviously a couple turnovers, but didn't end up paying for it. And thought he looked good moving the puck, everything like that.
Yeah, I thought him and Bogosian actually played pretty damn well together.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like playing pretty good defensively and like physically in the corner too. Like a few of the Blues took like some big runs at him and some reverse hits. He was hard to knock off the puck. He was one of the few that were like visibly hard to bully in that game too, which I found like great for a guy who like doesn't play necessarily to his size at times for being like a bigger defenseman. So I was impressed with that, and Zeev as well, just like being aggressive in the corners and on the boards as well. So not necessarily the two guys I expected to be kind of like answering or just like matching the intensity, but it was good to see.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, again, and just back to what we were mentioning earlier with like the young guys not always in the lineup or lower in the lineup. Again, I think it's injuries are dictating a whole lot of this, and especially with like the deployment, where they're at in the lineup, whether or not they're scratched. Like again, like Yurov gets scratched those first 2 games. I understood it, but it was also like we all want to see them play, but it's kind of figuring out exactly how they can do that. Like you probably can't have every single one of those young guys in the lineup every night anyways.
No.
But with the injuries to Zuccarello and Sturm, like 2 pivotal parts of their lines, like what you want from Zuccarello, what you want from Sturm. It's obviously they're gonna figure out the tinkering when they're out, like exactly where you can slot some of these young guys in, what's gonna work. So I would imagine that we still see some more like line tinkering. I mean, like what did they say? Zuccarello's out for was it December?
Yeah.
Not coming back till. But so we'll see. Again, we'll see where they land on, if they kind of find some consistency in their lines. But again, we want to see the young kids, but it's not just as simple as throw them in the lineup and see what happens.
Yeah. Has Ogren or Height surprised you anywhere? Because I know Ogren obviously we want to see in the top 6, and like I didn't think he was too noticeable in the first game, but having said that, like it wasn't like he was doing anything bad. It's just the fourth line just didn't get that many minutes, and he was out there for a few plays. The last like shift they were out there was kind of rough. They like lost in the offensive zone, and then they were able to get a whistle and then get off the ice. But Height, like I said, impressed me with how good he was in the faceoff dot, and just played very conservative, but did not do anything crazy at all. But I don't know, were there any surprises out of both of them? Because since we've seen more of them than Yurov thus far.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. I thought they were fine that first game. Like you said, Height, I think he was like 60-something% the faceoff dot. The second game against Columbus was so outrageous, like a 7-4 loss, like constant special teams. Like it was pretty chaotic home opener. Like there's just a lot going on. They weren't super noticeable. I think like Ogren only ended up with like 6 minutes 55 seconds, I think, time on ice, and I think Height was right around 8 and change. Obviously suffered at the faceoff dot a bit there as well. I also just forgot that fucking Kaprizov put up 11 shots on net in that second game, which is just, I mean, they had 52 fucking shots on goal. But again, I thought Height looked pretty comfortable in that, especially in that first game, which like to me really speaks to his overall skill set and his adaptability. Like when you draft him in the second round, like you're drafting a scoring guy that's either going to be in your middle 6 pushing for a top 6 spot down the line. And just over the past 2 seasons, he's proven that despite like having a smaller frame, he can play and is comfortable playing middle of the ice against pros, not afraid of the physicality of the game. And he's able to kind of do some things in your bottom 6, like fine defensively, again, ideally win some more faceoffs in that second game, but whatever. But I think he's just been, it's impressive to see how adaptable he's been, like last year in Iowa and then just the start of this year. Obviously gets scratched tonight, so Yurov can get in, but I would say like right down the middle as far as the expectations go, but I like the adaptability and his ability to play in your bottom six, even though like his natural like skill set or the foundation of his game is like skill, speed, scoring, making plays. So,
but I mean, he even said it like getting or developing that two-way game is what helped him win a championship in the OHL. Because his points didn't like his points were about the same, but he brought that extra tool. And I mean, what a dream for coaches in the AHL and NHL, where it's like, okay, this guy actually can do everything. And it's not like his offensive abilities are going to go away. I don't think they're going to coach him to become Travis Green just yet. Like, he's got a lot of time and a lot of rope. If anything, I'd say he's a year ahead of development of where I thought he'd be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, we talked about this all year last year. Like, whenever I was watching the Iowa, like, it was impressive to see how well
he was the standout for sure.
Yeah, I mean, one of the few that'd be that team, and I mean they're in one again this year. Tough start so far, but we'll see. I mean, first two games under Cronin's always going to be tough either way. But yeah, no, I mean, like you said, when Saginaw won the Mem Cup or whatever, you know, Haight was kind of playing in a depth role, played a little bit of the middle of the ice, played a little bit of the wing, used defensively. Like, he was really just a middle six guy that can provide scoring, but he was kind of rounding out his two-way game. Just to like make a difference outside of just being on the score sheet. So obviously he carried that into the AHL last year, and you know, now he's got 2 games under his belt and being used in that bottom six. And again, just the adaptability, especially if he's going to be playing in the middle of the ice. That's obviously going to go a long way. So there's more development for him to be had, obviously. In like, you know, the next few years are going to be interesting with phasing out some of the older guys, phasing in some of the younger guys. So we'll see. I mean, he's got a leg up on a lot of the younger players, prospects, just how well he's developed the last couple of years, but you know, we'll see.